And we can tell you that the Browns have just hung on to defeat the Baltimore Ravens, a 24-22 final there. This was certainly a game that the Browns needed to win. They improved to 7-6, while the Ravens, who lead that division, fall to 8-5. And let's now welcome in CBS Sports commentator and former NFL quarterback, Super Bowl champion Trent Green, who's in Cleveland for this game between the Browns and the Ravens. Trent, let's start with the result here. A big win for the Browns, but a big loss for the Ravens in numerous ways.
Yeah, it is. And coming into this game, we thought it was going to be a close game. And then after halftime, it's 24-6 at that point in time. It was all Cleveland Browns early on in this game, and it really looked like it was going to be a landslide. And then, as you mentioned, a couple of losses for the Ravens. Not only the game loss, but losing Lamar Jackson, losing Calais Campbell, their best offense and best defensive player, going out of this game, on top of all the other injuries that they had coming into this game. But Tyler Huntley played very well in the second half, got them back into position to where they were, it was a two-point game right at the end. So he came up with some plays when they needed it, and the Ravens defense responded in the second half just to even make this thing close.
Trent, we're waiting for news as to the extent of Lamar Jackson's ankle injury. You talk about the play of Huntley, the fact that they were able to come back and make it a two-point game, but how do things change for this team if Lamar is out for an extended period of time based on what you saw today?
Well, we asked John Harbaugh that. Melanie Collins did at halftime and said, what's going to happen from a game plan standpoint? And John was like, listen, Huntley is very similar in terms of his ability to Lamar Jackson. Not saying, of course, Lamar Jackson's a former MVP, but as far as changing the game plan, they felt like they didn't have to change it all that much because Huntley is a mobile quarterback that has a big arm, can throw it down the field. He doesn't have near the same amount of speed as Lamar Jackson when he gets in the open field, and he doesn't have, quite honestly, as strong of an arm as Lamar Jackson, but he was able to do some really good things. So I don't know how much of an adjustment it will be. You know that Lamar Jackson, not only from a throwing standpoint, but a running standpoint, leads this team almost double more than anybody else rushing the football. So I think that's where they would miss him the most. They've got to try and get him back as quickly as possible. They face the Green Bay Packers next, and Baltimore will need Lamar Jackson if they want to make this a push towards the postseason.
Yeah, that is a huge game for them as they have one of the toughest schedules to finish the season. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield, though, Trent, before we let you go. He's been criticized as of late. Some might say justifiably so. How big is this win for him?
Well, it's a huge game for the Cleveland Browns, and Myles Garrett talked to us about that. He said this is a win-or-go-home type of game, and you say, well, how is that possible? Because there's a lot of games left. Well, it's because of tiebreakers. They were coming into this game, they were the 11th seed from a playoff standpoint because of their conference record and their division record. So it was a win-or-go-home type of game, and that's the mentality they had at the beginning of the game. Baker Mayfield started off the game 11 of 12. He went into halftime 16 of 19, had a couple of touchdown passes in the first half. But the second half, the Ravens made some adjustments. Of course, the Browns adjusted their game plan because they had such a big lead, and they allowed the Ravens to get back into this thing. But Baker Mayfield's got to be feeling really good. He knows he's got to have shoulder surgery on that left shoulder in the offseason, but he felt like his heel felt much better, and the number of other injuries felt much better with that time off.
He is CBS Sports commentator, Super Bowl champion Trent Green, giving us his thoughts on the Ravens' loss to the Browns in Cleveland. Thanks, Trent. Good to see you.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.